So in this part of the video, I'll be discussing a program on how to find largest number. I discuss the theory, the logic on how to find largest number in the last part of the video. So in this part of the video, I'll be writing the code. I'll just teach you how to write code to implement that logic into a program. But before that, we need to understand how to implement loops, how to write loops. Loop means that if we have part of the program, or if we have some statements that we have to execute again and again, then how we can do that? Like for example, if I run this program says that I'm enjoying programming, right? Suppose if I want to say this statement, you're so obsessed with programming that if you want to just say this again and again, suppose you want to say this 10 times, one option is you can just copy this statement. You have to say I'm enjoying programming, and you want to repeat this for 10 times. So one option is you can keep copy and paste 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, and if you run this program, you will see the same statement is 10 times. I'm enjoying programming, and this is for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. Now, if suppose if somebody says that if you love programming, then why don't you do it 1,000 times? Why don't you write it 1,000 times? Then how will you do it? So, are you going to copy paste 1,000 times? No, it doesn't make sense. So, idea is that there is a part of the statement that we have to repeat again and again. If you remember in mathematics also, when we used to draw flow charts, I used to that arrow from, I used to just take out arrow from a block and send it, and used to send it on the top. So if you're part of the statement, if there's some statements and some logic and some part of the code that we want to repeat again and again, for that we use loops, or we call them as iterators, or loop iterators. So how we do that? There are three ways in which we can do that. First is using for statement. If you do it for statement, what we do, we define a loop iterator variable, say init I. It's a variable that we need to iterate the loop, and then we say for the initial value of, say, I varies from 0 to I less than, say how many times? 10 times. So I less than 10 colon I plus plus. So this, whenever this is, I'm not sure whether we discussed in the first class or not. If you want to increase the value of I say I equals to I plus 1. So this statement I equals to I plus 1 is, if you see it in mathematical way, it is absurd. How can I be equal to I plus 1? This is like cancel I with I and 1 equal to 0 equal to 1. If you cancel I with I, it's like 0 equal to 1, which is not possible. So don't think that way. It is, when we define, I told you when we define variable, that when we define I as a variable of time integer, this I is pointing to a memory cell where an integer will be stored. So when I say I equal to I plus 1, this means that you just take out the value stored in place of I in the cell to where I is pointing to. Take out that integer, add 1 to it, and then again assign it to I. So that's like assignment statement. That's like, so when you say I equal to, you're assigning a value of I to I. You are storing, when you say, like, say, write it again, when you say I equals to, it means you are in the memory cell, you are writing a value, and what value you want to write? I plus 1. So it means take out that value which is there take out that value in the memory cell, add 1 to it, and then save it in the same memory cell. So take out that value, add 1, and save in the memory cell. So same thing can also be written as I plus plus, right? It means it's like it's the same thing. You are adding 1 to I, you say I plus plus, add 1 to I. But if you want to add multiple values to I, say I equal to I plus 5, then you use this statement, I equal to I plus 5. Or there is another way to do that. So I plus equal to 5, you can also write it like this, right? So so what we do here is, we say I starts from 0, and then we have to vary I from 0 to 10 till I equals to 10, then I plus plus. And here I write cout, this is already written here. So this time you see I don't need to write it 10 times. One time is sufficient, and we are giving instruction to the program that repeat this statement 10 times. Right? When I say I varies from, and remember that when I varies from, suppose if I write the value of I here to show you how I varies. See if I run this program. So when initially a value of I is 0 and this statement is printed, this I'm enjoying programming, then value of I is 1 and value of I is 2 and goes on, and then it becomes none. So see, this statement is not executed in the beginning. Initial value of I is 1, program checks this condition whether I is less than 10, yes I is less than 10, the statement is printed. It goes back, then it is incremented. So it is like this I plus plus 1 is written here, right? So I plus plus 1 is written just before the loop terminates. And if there are multiple statements inside the for loop, we use these braces, right, like this. So it is like I plus plus is written here before we end up before we finish the one iteration of the loop. So again I repeat, initial value of I is 0 and then loop is executed and then it goes back, increase the value of I and then checks this condition. So first step is setting up the initial value of I, and then it goes back, increment the value of I, check this condition. If I is less than 10, it again repeats this loop. It keeps on repeating till I equals to 10. You know, I equal to 10, we don't say I equal to 10 in the screen, because the moment I becomes 10, I is more than 10. I is not less than 10. I is 10. It means I is not less than 10, so the loop is not executed. Right, so the other way is so this is a typical question, why we start from 0, why not we start from 1? You can start from 1. If you start from 1, then you say I less than equals to 10. So for this loop to execute 10 times, you have to execute this loop for I equal to 10 also. So if I run this, you can see initial value of I equals to 1 and then 2 and then 3 4 5 6 7. This is another way you can do like this, but generally it is the convention taken is don't put less than equal to look at for a neater statement, for it to look nice and neat, we don't put equal to sign here. It's up to you, your choice. And when you don't put equal to sign here, you have to put I equal, start from I equal, or you can do I equal to 1 from here. If you don't want to put equal to sign, make it 11. Again, that is not recommended, because if you have to run loop for 10 times, we want to see 10 here, not 11. Right? If you want to run this for 10 times, you want to see 10 here, not 11. So it's advisable that you start from I equal to 0 and go up to 10 I less than 10. Or another option is start from I equal to 1 and go I less than equal to 10. Like this. So this loop will be executed 10 times. Now if you execute 1000 times or 100 times, so easy. You don't need to write it again and again. You just make a change here, that iterate this loop, execute this loop 100 times. Now you see 100 times I'm enjoying programming will be printed on the screen. See. Now if you have to do the same thing, another way to iterate the loop is not using while, not using for loop. Another option is we can use while statement, while I is less than, so hardly any difference, the same thing, while I is less than 100, I do this. See, so only difference is see, I need to increment I here. So initial value of I also we need to set. Initial value of I is 0. So instead of writing this in one statement, initial value of I, terminating condition, and increment, right? Increment. All these three are written in one statement. Whereas in case of while, only we write the condition here, right? The condition, terminating condition, while keep on repeating this loop while I is less than 100, and then increment is done inside the loop, and then initialization is done before the loop. We are again doing the three things: initialization, terminating condition, and incrementation. But all these three are done at different places. So It's a way of doing things. The other advantages of writing while statement, we'll do it later. So we cannot do, generally for loop is used when you know the fixed number of times when the iterator has to work. When it is defined that, for example, in this case, it is defined that we have to print this statement, I'm enjoying programming 100 times. If this number is not fixed, how many times the loop will be executed, right? This number is 100 is not fixed. There are other conditions of termination. Then we use while statement, we cannot use for statement. So as we do more programming, we'll learn about this more, right? So if it's going to do the same thing. If you run this program again, you will see, you see 100 times. So this time I start from 0, so it's printing starting from 0 to 99. It's the same thing. If you want to see numbers 1 to 100, you change it 1 here. Terminating condition should be less than equal to 100. Rest is same. Right? Now the another thing, third way of writing loop is like do while. So there's not much difference in while and do while. The only difference is when I write do while, the terminating condition do this, what do this printing, control C. So see, the body is same. In while and do while, the body is same. The only thing is this time the while is at the end of the statement, right? While कहाँ लिखा हमने, at the end of the statement लिखा हमने. Do this while I is less than 100. Yeah. Let's see this I less than equal to 100, because we're starting from I equal to 1, we have to go till I less than equal to 100. If I run this program, again you see the same output. So the only difference is that in do while you're not checking condition in the beginning. So this loop will definitely run for one time, right? Because you're running these statements and then you're checking the while condition. कि जहाँ पे एक बार को तो लूप रन करना ही कराना ही है आपने, तब ये हम डू वाइल यूज करेंगे. कि जहाँ पे शुरू में कंडीशन चेक करने की जरूरत नहीं है. वी वांट प्रोग्राम टू एंटर इनटू द लूप and then we are terminating it at the end of the loop. So there hardly any difference. You're just shifted this while from top to bottom. That's the only difference. As in the code is same. So these are three typical ways of writing an iterator, what we call as a loop, either using for statement or using while statement or using do while statement. And do while and while are same, so I don't want to keep them separate. So actually there are two ways. Either we write for statement or while statement, and difference between the two ways, though we'll study more about this in future programs. So the major difference between the two is that for is used when we know the number of times loop has to be executed. It is based on the number of times. But if the terminating condition is just the number of times, how many times the loop will be executed, that's not the condition to decide how many times the loop will be executed. There's some other terminating condition, then we use while. So let's move to our largest number program. I close the solution and I'll open another project which I've already made this project, largest number. So we understand the first statement. We don't understand the first statement, and I told you not to touch this. Let it be like this. We understand second statement. It is to print. Either you can write in code form, or you can write this single bracket to include the library to write on the screen or read from the screen, right? And then namespaces. You understand that. Now this is like number of elements. Number of elements in the list. Suppose number of elements equals to 10. We're defining a constant, right? Which says that number of elements equals to 10, and then we are defining this array of numbers. Again, I don't remember whether I discussed this array of numbers in the first class or not, but it is same. Like you define let me quickly go through this for a minute or two. I think I went through this array of numbers in the first class. Frankly, I don't remember it. So if I say if I define an integer, say A, so it can hold only one value. But if you want to hold, if I want a variable that can hold multiple values, right? But I don't want to define, for example, I want to hold uh, 10 variable 10 values. So I, one option is I define 10 variables, init a1, init a2, init a3, but this is not practical. If I have to store 100 values, I cannot define 100 variables. So the way that we do in a program, in a software language, is I define an array or a list of numbers, and what I need to do is just I need to use the square brackets. This indicates that a is not just a number. A is a list of numbers, and how many numbers are there in the list, I write here. Suppose I want to make a list of 100 numbers, so I write 100 here. So this a represents a list of 100 numbers. So I think I'm not sure whether but let me skip. I think I've discussed this in the first class. So I have a list of numbers, a list of 10 numbers, and see, I've already defined this list. Instead of otherwise you have to, every time you run this program, you have to enter 10 numbers to make this list to create this list, to find the largest number in the list. So to save time, I've created this list of 10 numbers. Let's not, suppose let's change this to 102. Now to find the largest number from this list, this is, I'm defining a variable largest, which is holding the largest value from the list. And position is the position where this largest number exists in the list. Suppose in this case the largest number is 102 and its position is 8th position in the list, right? So we find the largest number as well as the position where this largest number is in the list, where this largest number exists in the list. So to write this loop, so this time we know fixed number of times loop will be executed. So first of all, let's define a say for loop iterator. We need to define a loop iterator. So I say init I, to iterate the loop I need to have a loop iterator, and then say for I equal to 0 till I less than number of elements, num elements, right? And then colon I plus plus. So this is a standard part. And then next I say if the same logic which we discussed, I'm going to implement that. If the value in the largest variable stored is less than, this is numbers array. Suppose initially the value of I is 1, so I'm comparing largest with the first number in the list. If the value in the largest is less, then I say, I define I put a curly bracket, I say copy the value in the list to the largest variable, because largest has to hold the largest value, but this time largest is less than the number in the list. So I copy that number in the list to the largest variable. ये कॉपी कर लिया मैंने, नंबर्स array है, ये मैंने कॉपी कर लिया. नंबर्स में जो लिस्ट में जो नंबर था, I just copied that number in the largest variable because that number is more than the number in the largest. I copy the largest number and I hold the position also. मैंने position भी copy कर ली, I की value copy कर ली, right? So I think we are done here. When we so it's a iterator. First, when value of I is 0, largest is compared to the first value in the list. When value of I is 1, we are comparing largest with second value in the list, and this keeps on going till the last value. And then I have already the print command here. So I'm printing largest number here, and also I'm printing the position. Now you see, I'm adding 1 before I'm printing the position. Why? Because I'm plus plus before POS means that you increase it first and then you print it. अगर इसके बाद लगाता हूँ तो है कि पहले प्रिंट करके फिर बढ़ाओ, तो प्रिंटिंग में नहीं बढ़ेगी, वो उसके बाद बढ़ेगी. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल प्रिंट and then you increase. If I put plus plus, nothing, it's not going to increase the value of pause. You will see the value of pause on the screen, which is non-incremented value. To see incremented value, you need plus plus before pause. So what it is, why we need to do plus plus, because in the list, the array starts from the value 0. So 3 is the first element in the list. The first element in the list is 0th. So we access the 3 value will come when I say numbers, 0th cell is saved above. It is like this. 0th value is 3. So that's why when the position is, but the position of this is 1. So यहाँ पे position I, when the I02 की जो number is, the position in the list is 8, but the value of I is 7. So that's why I need to increase it, because value starts from 0 and position is 1 more than the value. So if you run this program, this, you know, you'll see this sorted list. Largest number, sorry, no, not the sorted list. We're finding the largest number here. Largest number is 102 and the largest number is at the position 8. And you can see 102. If I make changes in the list, if I introduce another number which is more than 102. So this time answer should be 105 and the position of the largest number should be 4. Well, let's check whether we have written the right code or not. And you can see largest number is 105 and the position of largest number is 4. So you can see we could do it with this just 4 lines of code. We could find the largest number in the list of numbers, and now you can see, though it's a very simple program, like it's a very simple program, and but at least it is giving you the idea of practical advantage of using computers. If you have like say 10,000 numbers and you have to find the largest number, it's not that easy. But you feed them into computer all these numbers and run this program, which is like a 4 lines of code, it can give you the largest number of the list. So though it's a very practical, very small, very simple example of use of computers and what they can do, but still it is very practical. And see, in the last class, in the next class, we'll learn how to sort a list. If there is a list of numbers, how we can do the sorting, and that will give you that is largest number is, at least you can do manually. If there are 100 numbers, 1000 numbers, if you have to sort 1000 numbers, then it's not that easy. You need some program, whether in a spreadsheet, we have a feature where we can sort. That's also a program. You can put in Excel and you can apply the sort command, but it's also a program running in the background. So that's a practical use of computers, that even small things, even things like sorting and searching a number, sorting a number, finding largest number, finding smallest number, you can write with this. We can do this with a small piece of code. Now I have some tasks for you here, like for what you need to do at home. That you need to first of all write this, what I have written, write a loop using statement to find the largest number. Change this program to print the largest number and the second largest number. Now you have to figure out the logic that we need to save the largest number and also we need to save the second largest number. When we come out of the loop, we should have the largest number with us and we should have the second largest number with us. So, and you should not write 2 loops, right? एक loop लिखा आपने largest number के लिए, फिर आपने एक और loop लिखा second. No, you have to do it in one loop. It's not a difficult thing. You just think how to do that. Change this program to print the largest and the smallest number in the same loop again. When you're iterating the loop, right? You have to find the largest number at the same time in the same iteration, in the same loop. You have to find the smallest number too. And then this is task 4 is difficult. Maybe I'll discuss that in the next class, but you can try it yourself. Suppose change this program to print the largest number and the frequency of the largest number. Suppose if the numbers are repeated in the list, suppose if I have 100 here and if I repeat this 105, if I make this 105, there are 205s. So this time you have to find the largest number is 105, and it is how many times it is occurring? It is occurring 2 times. You need to print the frequency of the largest number, right? कि largest number कितनी बार occur हो रहा है, right? So अभी हम देखेंगे तो अभी जैसे for example आपको अब run करते हैं, देखते हैं कि like there are, what will happen is there are 105, there are 2 largest number. What this program will do? If I run this program, it is showing largest number is 105 and the largest position is at position 4. So जब पहली वाली पोजीशन है वही ले लिया उसने, बाद वाली पोजीशन नहीं लिया है. अगर आपको चाहिए कि लेटेस्ट लास्ट वाली पोजीशन चाहिए, इनिशियल नहीं, लास्ट वन, सो जस्ट मेक अ स्मॉल चेंज इन दिस प्रोग्राम. कि इस बार क्या हो रहा है कि जब सेकंड टाइम ये लार्जेस्ट नंबर है, जब ये 105 कंपेयर हुआ 105 से, तो उस टाइम पे हमने पोजीशन स्टोर नहीं करी उसकी. लार्जेस्ट नंबर, फोर्थ नंबर को लार्जेस्ट मान रहे हैं. जब 105 को 105 से इक्वेट किया, हमने कंपेयर किया तो इक्वल थे, तो हमने कुछ नहीं किया, हमने उसको कॉपी नहीं किया लार्जेस्ट के अंदर, बिकॉज वो सेम ही है. इफ आई मेक अ चेंज कि इफ लार्जेस्ट नंबर लेस देन इक्वल टू द नंबर इन द लिस्ट, अगर इक्वल टू भी है, यू हैव टू कॉपी दैट इन द लार्जेस्ट. दो यू शुड नॉट डू इट, इट्स अ वेस्ट ऑफ रिसोर्सेज, राइट? यू शुड नॉट डू इट, यू शुड नॉट कॉपी लार्जेस्ट नंबर इन द लिस्ट टू द लार्जेस्ट नंबर, बिकॉज अदरवाइज 2 नंबर इक्वल है, बेकार में उसको कॉपी कर रहे हैं. ये भी इक्वल है, ये भी इक्वल है, क्यों कॉपी मार रहे हैं? बिकॉज कॉपी मारना इज लाइक अ टाइम कंज्यूमिंग ऑपरेशन. एक सेल को हटा के वहां उसमें कॉपी मार रहे हैं. बट इफ यू वांट टू डू इट नाउ, दिस टाइम द पोजीशन अब जो आएगी वो इस वाले की पोजीशन आएगी, बाद वाले की आएगी, जो ये 8th की आएगी. इफ यू रन दिस प्रोग्राम, because now this time when 105 is equal to 105 equal to है, loop will be this if statement will be executed, and this 105 will be copied to this largest value, which was also 105 in the before assignment, but after that After that also is 105, but the position is updated. Position 4 की जगह position 8 आ गई है. If you run this program, see, position 8 आ गया, largest number in the position is 8th position. So so see, like this was like the first lecture I took, and because of the audio quality I had to record this video again. So this was like the beginning of what we have to do in this course, where we have to learn more and more coding. So we just made two programs. The first program we learned how to implement if then else statement, if else statement, and in the second program we learned how to implement the loops. The for using for loop, we found the largest number in the list. So so again I repeat, there are three things and which you have to clearly understand. One is the logic to solve the problem. The logic is like we assume first. Other thing I forgot to mention you, I can mention you now. You copied. You assume zero number as the largest number. Instead of that, you can assume first number in the list as the largest number. इसको first number ले सकते थे in the list. बाकी को फर्क नहीं होता. Now you can start your loop is 1 की जगह 2 से compare कर सकते हैं. ये कर सकते हैं. So everything will remain same. Only thing is the first number you're copying as the largest number. Your first number you're taking as the largest number and start comparing with the second number. So rest will remain same. If we run this program, the output will be same. Right, everything is same. See if you see that the kind of logics we have applied to solve this problem, that assume first number is the largest number, compare with second, and then so if the number in the list is more, copy it to the largest variable. If it is less, then ignore. There's something we do in mathematics. We do much more complex problems. Right, so first part where you have to figure out logic is not that, like problems can be very complex, but for most of the typical problems it is not that difficult. Second thing is which I want to focus on, how to convert the logic into a program. Like for example, we have done this कि कैसे उस logic में convert किया, this much we wrote this much code, right? How to convert, this is what I plan to teach you in this course. And third thing is the syntax, how to write for, how to write while statement, how to write if statement, how to write switch statement. So this is something which is like, you can read any book, you can just go through lectures available on internet. That's not a big thing. You can easily learn it. But remember, you need to practice it. कि confidence तभी आएगा जब practice करेंगे. Third चीज़ का confidence तभी आएगा जब practice करेंगे. Otherwise, first ठीक है, second भी ठीक है, but third, what about third? If you cannot write code, you cannot do it, make a program. Finally, it's a program. So all these three things are important. Each has its own importance, but in this course our main focus is the second part, where we learn how to convert logic into code. But third thing is the homework you have to do. If you're writing program, if you're not able to do it, if you're stuck somewhere, spend time, rerun it, right? So don't give it up. So that's if you don't do that, then the purpose of the course is defeated. So अगर नहीं रन करता, कोई error आती है, try करो. शुरू में time लगता है, but the time you need to write a program will start going down based on the if it is at the same level. If the level will go up, if the level of the program will go up, then it might take up more time also. Towards the end of the course, you might write program which will need few days to write. So I still don't know what complexity I will cover in this course, but the complex program can take few days. This complex puzzle or program might take few days. Thank you.